Hi folks, and welcome to September's Aches and Games Monthly, a relaxed check-in between two slightly older British friends, talking life, gaming, and whatever else comes to mind. We've got a fun show for you this month, sharing what we've been doing, watching, and playing, including Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which was our monthly SubClub choice. Plus, we'll cover the main news of the moment and highlight any recent or upcoming releases of note. And remember, if you want to jump around in the episode, like Kris Kross from the 90s, you can jump straight to a section. I shouldn't freestyle. I've thrown myself completely off my intro. Much like they shouldn't. They didn't really freestyle, did they? Anyway, moving on.
No.
You can jump around section to section by using the timestamps in the description. Feel free to do that, but obviously we'd love you to listen to the whole thing. Aside from these episodes, find us on socials, Facebook page, search for Aches and Games, or on the usual places. And I'm Giles Wentwest on various socials, Xbox and PS5. Joining me as always is my good friend James Hapes. James, how you doing?
Yeah, very well, Giles. Don't the months go really quick these days? We were just chatting about it yesterday, about how quickly August has gone. How can it possibly be September already? Absolute madness. But there we go. I think as you get older, the months go quicker and the years go quicker, and then that's it, isn't it? You're then a pensioner and crawling around on the floor. So there we go. Lots to look forward to. But yes, I'm very well, thank you. I'm James Boy 1978 on PlayStation. No, I'm not. James Boy 78, am I? Never work out. God knows. It just logs in automatically. Doesn't it when I press a button? Yeah. Who knows? If you want to know my username, come around my house and watch me log on, then you can see it. But there we go. And I am on You Have to Laugh on social media, including Instagram and Facebook. And I did a website and Facebook page and TikTok for Aches and Games, obviously. So yeah. It's all good, James. Really good. But Giles goes, Giles? Blimey. Joshua, my son, goes back to school tomorrow, so it's been a bit of a hectic day. Hence, well, I might be even slightly less prepared than usual.
I think that's the second month in a row where you've confused me and your son, which, you know, is, some might say concerning, but I put it down to, like you said, you know, the hectic and slightly stressful nature of, presumably, I've got images of you running around Diagon Alley getting, you know, wizarding books and broomsticks and stuff. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, it's really hard to get hold of a decent owl this time of year as well. They've all sold out.
Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially during the day. It's really hard during the day to find owls.
Have you considered a rat?
Not a big fan of rats. Joshua doesn't like rats either. One of the things in his pre-starting secondary school booklet is he had to put in his least favourite animal, and he went for rat. So that wouldn't have been ideal at all.
Yeah, that would be quite passive aggressive as a parent to get him his least favourite animal. But I think they're probably harshly considered. But anyway, I think as always we're getting distracted. The difference being we haven't even got through the intro yet. So, James, what have you been up to apart from organising for return to school?
You probably know more than me, Giles, because as we discussed before, I put all the notes on the phone, but now I can't see the notes on the phone. I can only see them when I write them down. So Ben, I didn't write them down. Giles knows much more about my life than I do this month. But I shall wing it, as always, because that's one of my gifts, is winging and blagging. That's how I've been so successful in my various careers. So, August, obviously it's been summer holidays, as we discussed last time. So we've been doing lots of summer holiday stuff. We went away for some trips. Went down to Somerset for a few days with the family, including my mum. Had a hot tub, did some fun stuff, went to Wookey Hole Caves, which was very nice. Wookey Hole Caves is very good. They've got a circus there now. They've got all sorts of stuff going on. Very, very, very family orientated down there now. It's very expensive, but the caves is a very small part of it now. You wander around the caves, get cold, walk back out, and then there's dinosaurs and circuses and restaurants and 4D cinema, which is awesome. I highlight the holiday with a 4D cinema, watching some dinosaurs run around and being jolted around in the seats. That was good fun. So that was that. I've had a 30th birthday party, which is very nice.
Congratulations.
That was only a handful of days.
You don't look at...
Yeah, I know. I'm regressing. Yeah. I'm Benjamin Button in it. So hopefully by the next episode, I'll be back in my 20s where I'm happy and fulfilled. So that was good. That was at a pub / restaurant / hotel in Binfield, which is near Bracknell. And that was a work colleague. So I think I've mentioned before that a few of my work colleagues, some of the people I am responsible for, are a lot younger than me, which these days wouldn't be that hard. Because, the youngest is 21 in my district, and the oldest is 60 now, or 59. So okay. I'm not the oldest, I'm not the youngest.
Slap bang in the middle.
Jostling in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
But it does mean there's some good birthday parties coming up. So we had a 30th one the other day. We got a 60th coming up in February. And then we've got a couple more 30ths next year. So lots of good things to look forward to. And this was nice. It wasn't too raucous. It wasn't too exciting. It was a nice tacos and pizzas and chicken goujons in a pub garden under a canopy, which was handy because it was raining quite a bit. So every time you went to the bar, you had to get wet to go through the 5 meters to the bar and back. Down some very slippery steps. Not ideal when you're carrying a tray for the drinks. But yeah, good chats, good stuff. And then we ended up at another pub and danced to some live cover band of Tina Turner and Billy Idol and other people that I can't remember because it was so long ago. And we had a good time. So I only stayed till about 10:30, but perfectly pleasant. Really good time. Really nice people. Some of the people I work with are actually really pleasant. So you never know what they're going to be like outside of work. They might be complete knobs, but it turned out they're all very pleasant. So very nice evening and a good way to spend a whatever day it was evening. So that's 2 of my things, Charles. Say some of your things and come back to my things when I remember what any of them are.
That sounds good. I like the idea that some of them might be listening and would have gone on an emotional. Yeah, no, they would have gone on an emotional roller coaster as you suggested. They could have been knobs, but turns out they were actually really nice. So
yeah, what a relief.
There you go. I'll have to pretend that all of the people I've ever worked with are nice too, just in case they're tuning in. But they, some of them are, but generally people. But yeah, that sounds really good. We started slow. In August. So you mentioned it's school holidays. Our lives probably deviate most during school holidays because for you guys, obviously, there's lots of fun and exciting activities going on. For us, we're trying to stay in and avoid all the kids who are off. We dog sat for my sister who does have school-age children and so had gone on holiday. They only went for a week this year. We had him for 2 weeks last year. And we had 3 weekends last year. And he's a lovely dog, but he's quite needy. So we were quite pleased when they just went for a week this year rather. 2 weekends. So we briefly considered all the fun things we could do, taking him with us. And then we thought, screw that. We're just going to stay in, go for walks, and keep it really simple so that we don't have to have the stress for all of us of sort of going somewhere dog friendly or not. So we started off pretty quiet as a result, which was actually really nice because we had a really busy few months before that. Rudely, work made me go into London for the day, and I only share that with the podcast because I'm very fortunate I get to work from home pretty much the whole time now. So it was really strange and quite unpleasant. It was quite a hot day. London's not my favourite thing at the best of times.
No.
Go in for fun things, that's fine. It's a good trade-off. But going in for work seems like a sort of lose-lose to me. So that was unfortunate. Definitely don't want to repeat that, trying to get out of the next one. And yeah, until a little rush of activity over the last week or so, we were pretty quiet. Have you remembered any of your other stuff, James? Shall I give you a chance to update?
No, but I was a bit worried for a second, and I thought you said you'd been doing some Russian activity, but it's a rush of activity, much less political and exciting. I also noted the fact that you don't like London much, and I never did either.
Yeah.
Yep, I said it's useful for nights out, but when I used to work in London, everyone used to love going on the train so they could read a book and relax and chill out and all that stuff, and then wander through and see some sights. I hated every second. I desperately tried to sleep on the train, so I didn't want to be sandwiched in by people. Everyone stinks. Awful place. But yeah, nice sights. But good for nights out because going back to the 30th birthday party the other day in Binfield's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. It wasn't anywhere near the train station. And then the second pub we went to was even further away from the train station. So fortunately I got a lift home from Sarah, which is very kind of her, and made up for me picking her up from Bracknell the week before when her train had been cancelled back from Windsor or somewhere she went to. But yeah, we all discussed the fact that for the Christmas do, it's always better in London because everyone just gets the train in and just accepts the fact that you can then drink, and it's just generally inconvenient. Whereas if it's in Benfield, people feel the urge to drive down from whatever place they live. There's people coming up from South Coast, there's people coming down from near St Albans, people all over the place. So driving's a thing, just means you can't drink and then you get a bit moody when you have to ferry people around afterwards. But there we go, that was that one. Big thing today, which I squeezed in before the podcast and we talked about last month, was I managed to see Jurassic World Rebirth. That's the right name, isn't it?
I think so.
I feel that it should be Reborn, but it's Rebirth. Odd. And it was good, in a way. Had Scarlett Johansson in it, as we mentioned before, as being a highlight. But she didn't have red hair, she had normal colour hair, so that was not quite as exciting. But the premise was...
dinosaurs.
They were going back to Yeah, they're kind of going back to a place where the dinosaurs went wrong a long time ago, which seems to be the premise of every film apart from the first one, where the premise was a bit different. So this time they went back to take some samples from the three biggest different types of dinosaurs. So the Mosasaurus, and a big flying one, and a big standing up one. So they wanted to get the biggest one of all three, because by taking a sample, it would help cure heart disease in humans.
Okay. That's quite a bold narrative statement right there, but that wasn't where I was expecting it to go, but fair enough.
No. Well, it surprised me when that was the a plot line they went with.
Yeah.
But there we go. So they went to this island where dinosaurs used to be, lurking near the equator, to see the correct conditions for modern-day dinosaurs to thrive from when they made them first.
As everyone knows.
And they stumbled across that bad regen lab where they tried to hybrid all the monsters together, and with terrible consequences. Spoiler alert from the first few films. Always terrible consequences when you try and make hybrid dinosaurs. But this time they managed to... I won't spoil it, actually. I won't tell you how it ends, but yeah, it ended. It involved dinosaurs and Scarlett Johansson. It's all good. So that was nice. And also, very excitingly, remember in the old days, Charles, we're not sponsored by them, but Pizza Hut used to have a Pizza Hut in Reading, 2 of them.
Yeah,
2 Pizza
and they
Huts in Reading
closed. It was very sad.
They all closed down because they almost went bust, didn't they, after lockdown. And but
rumours that you just sort of made them go bust by exploiting the all-you-can-eat buffet, just like a couple of...
One too many times.
Anyway, sorry.
But excitingly, the Swedish and Denmarky branch of Pizza Hut took over the UK operations, so now they've opened some restaurants again. So the one by B&Q is now reopened.
Yeah.
So we went there today for a traditional Pizza Hut buffet to celebrate going back to school like we always used to in the olden days. So that was nice. Bit different. They don't serve you at all anymore. You just get a QR code on the table. They all walk around looking completely disinterested. And obviously the buffet's always empty. That's always a part of the fun of having a completely empty buffet and everyone's standing there like savage animals ready to pounce on this poor member of staff. They bring up half a margarita pizza and everyone dives in and rips it to shreds. So it's good fun. So like the good old days, but a lot more expensive. Probably twice the price of the good old days, but nice to have a Pizza Hut back. And it's gone back into exactly the same Pizza Hut restaurant that closed down 5 years ago, which was designed as a pizza-shaped venue, so it made perfect sense. Furniture identical, everything's identical in there, just the staff are different. So there we go. That was nice for today, to wrap up the summer holidays and to break up the annoyance of today, which involved trying to get a black rucksack, a black waterproof coat, because you're not allowed to have any kind of colours on it. They suggest. I'm sure it's not true when he actually gets there, but we've gone out and bought black everything today. And some asteroid boots we were trying to find, but we couldn't find any of his size, so we should try again later in the week. So yeah, it's been a massive school uniform, equipment, gear effort over the last week. Nice to have it all kind of over with now.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully everyone can relax, and hopefully he settles in nicely to school, which is very exciting. Last week for us, I said we had a bit of a surge of activity. We went to a Bombay Sapphire for a gin tour, explaining how they make gin, which I am not the biggest fan of gin, but it was a lovely present from my sister. Hi Beth. No, it was a present for Hannah, really, and then I got a sort of +1 to accompany her, the designated driver. It was really interesting. It's a beautiful place. It's set in an old industrial kind of, I think they were a paper manufacturer at one point. They had the exclusive rights to make banknotes and stuff. It was quite interesting history. Down by a place called Overton, sort of down a bit south from where you and I are. But it was amazing greenhouse that they've made, designed by the guy who did the Cauldron for London 2012. It's a spectacular, really structural, impressive greenhouse, which is kind of supposed to be in the shape of like pouring gin, so it's quite fluid and curvy. It's all very nice. Bit pointless. They obviously make far too much money off their product, because I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem to serve any actual purpose apart from just looking nice. But it does include all the different botanicals that they use in the gin, just for show. So you can wander around it, and that's quite impressive. And then just learning about how gin's made is quite interesting, and we got to sort of smell and taste, if you wanted to, all the sort of ingredients, and also got made to put away our phones in case we blew up as we went around the the sort
Ooh.
of particular room, I forgot what it's called, evaporating room, where they sort of go through the process, because it's the air is full of alcohol, albeit very low level, but apparently a spark from a phone could explode us all. So that was quite exciting. We made it, which is good. So recommend that. And then we went to Woking Festival on the Sunday, the bank holiday Sunday. Bit different from some of the bigger festivals you might be thinking of. This wasn't Arctic Monkeys or Pulp or REM headlining. This was local bands really, and some covers bands and stuff, and just pay to sit in a field, pay more for drinks, pay more for food, generally pay, but otherwise a really lovely way to spend a Sunday. You got to take camp chairs like old people do, so we got to sit, listen to the bands, wander around, eat a lot, drink a lot, and generally look at all these big groups of friends being sociable, thinking, yeah, it's lovely to be here, the two of us, but, you know, we probably could do with bringing other people next time as well. So that was fun. And then
Lovely idea.
Yeah. Well, we thought we'd try it, and it's a volunteer-run thing. So I'm always in favour of trying to keep these things going, having known how hard they can be to kind of get anyone to turn up for when I did the markets in Trowbridge. So it was really nice, and actually saw a couple of bands that were pretty good and young, scarily young in most cases. And you never know, you know, took some pictures just in case in 20 years' time we can go, oh my God, we saw them in a field in Wakenham.
Yeah. You should have got some stuff signed, Charles. I missed that before, wasn't it?
Yeah, just
take some stuff to sign.
Just a photo these days. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the glory of saying I was there. You know, the trendy person who saw them in a crowd of like 20 or something in a small tent to the side of a small festival. So that was fun. We went to an ABBA night with Craig and Max this week at a local pub, which was also really fun. So we've had quite a nice little month of smaller scale stuff. No Oasis concerts, no big holidays, but just, you know, having a good time, getting through the summer, looking forward to a proper break. Anything?
I was going to say, I'm glad you said ABBA night, because in my head you had visited an abattoir with Craig and Max, but it was an ABBA night. It's a very different theme, I suppose. We didn't go to the Reading Festival, but we heard it very, very, very loudly this year.
Yeah, you're close.
Crazy loud. Like over the TV with all the windows. It's not a decent quality double glazing. All the windows closed, TV on loud, and the festival just booming out. I think it's someone on Sunday night, wasn't it? Was it Travis Scott or Travis and Perkins or?
Travis Scott, I think you're right. The kids will correct us, but yeah, it was really weird, wasn't it? Friday night was like Chapel Roan and Hosier, which actually I would have quite happily seen and enjoyed on TV. Saturday was like Bring the Horizon or something, and then Sunday was like Grime Day, which is all a bit odd. But anyway, yes, Reading's quite different from when we used to go.
Yeah. Not like the olden days. I used to love Reading Festival when I was a wee boy. I don't know how you get tickets anymore, and I certainly couldn't afford them, so anyway, one day. Maybe next year we'll come to the Woking Festival with you, Joe.
Yeah, well, there you go. Sold. Advance tickets are very reasonable. If, like us, you wait to see if it's sunny, it's a bit more expensive, but probably for the best. I'm not sure it would have been much fun sitting in the rain. Anyway.
No, probably not.
So
in an attempt to be topical, if there was a new band, was there anyone having their baseball cap signed, and did you steal it from them and put it in your bag and run
away? No, and we didn't get caught on Kiss Cam either. So all in all, we're failing miserably. I thought you were going to say an attempt to be topical and linking to the music. You've seen a very trendy, as in on trend and trending, program, haven't you? Or a film, I think, looking at your notes. You've been watching KPop Demon Hunters.
It's the most streamed film ever on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like got 400 million views or 400 billion views or a gazillion views or whatever it is in numbers.
It's awesome. More than this podcast. That's how popular it is. Yeah, seriously.
Close.
Yeah. Close.
So, we didn't know much about it until one week in the car on the way back from our holiday in Somerset with my mum, we would listen to the charts, I think we did, on one evening, and they had 3 songs from that film in the charts that just appeared.
Wow.
So obviously in our day, in the olden days, it used to be based on record sales and stuff, but now it's just based on streams. So even if a song never got released per se, then it just appears because lots of people listen to it because lots of people watch the film. So finally, last week we decided to watch it because it's on Netflix, and we've got Netflix, and it's free on Netflix, and it's awesome. So, as a brief synopsis, K-pop is like Korean pop, so it's very poppy type pop. It's kind of old European type cheesy pop with really good voices, but with a Korean edge to it. So the film, not spoiling too much, because everyone's always seen it 100 times. There's some demons, and then there's a K-pop band called Huntrix, which is 3 ladies that are destined to defeat the demons. So they sing songs and fight demons, and the aim is to close off a thingy that I can't remember the name of, but it starts with H, and that stops the demons from ever coming again. So they released this new song called Golden, which is a really great song, to be fair. Everyone said a Golden, awesome song. And it goes well, but then the lead singer loses her voice a little bit, and then she's kind of played with her own demons, because it turned out that her dad was a demon originally, so she comes in on these purple shapes on her body. And then the demons decide, they've been awful at being demons over the years, that they're going to make themselves into a boy K-pop band. Yeah. And then they come in and try and take over Huntrix's popularity with the Korean and international public, and they become really popular. And then they convince everyone to go to a big concert at the end to try and take them over to become demons. But then, without spoiling it, exciting stuff happens at the end. Great songs, and it's very sort of traditional manga type animation. So you've got like heart signs in people's eyes and popcorn coming out of people's mouths. It's really, really over the top. But it's awesome. And our Fran's daughter and son love it so much they've watched it like every other day during the school holidays. So they've probably watched it about 20 times themselves. So easy to see how it's got up to 400 million views on Netflix.
I was going to say, I think you don't get to the sort of viewership that it's got by people watching it once, so it's definitely a repeat viewing. And I love hearing the description of something like this. I've got so little knowledge of it. I just know that it's a phenomenon, so hearing you describe it makes it sound absolutely bonkers, like someone's had far too much Kiora or something and just kind of created this fever dream of a show. Do they defeat demons by singing, or are they two separate things? I was just a bit confused on that one.
Yeah, kind of both.
Okay.
So they defeat them with purple swords,
Nice.
which they use to slash them apart a lot. But like I said, if they become so popular and this song was so amazing, they could have use their voices to close up the portal from the demon world to the rest of the world. But it doesn't go quite to plan. And it's a kind of song. It's a kind of movie about acceptance, finding your place in society, being you, not listening to grown-ups, and taking over the world. It's all the great things in there. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one and recommend it to everyone of all ages because it is really good fun.
Good stuff. Well, I'll add that to the list, especially because we now have Netflix. So I went to the cinema to see Fantastic Four, which very much enjoyed. It's a pretty standalone entry into the MCU because it's in another universe, which was very nice. As lots of people have said, it's nice to not to have to sort of do your homework beforehand. It's very stylish, a sort of retro futuristic 60s type setting, and very much enjoyed that. So that was my trip out, and then at home we watched Wicked. So finally caught up, not the version starring your son, unfortunately, but the film version. So had to settle for Ariana Grande and Cynthia Eriva. Thank you. It was good. I've got to say, I felt very much like I felt when I saw it on stage, which was kind of what I was. Why I put off watching it a little bit. That it was good, but it didn't quite go over the edge for me into something that I really enjoyed. So we'll see if we're both intrigued about part 2 and how that works. So we'll see if we go in. And then just 2 quick ones from TV. The Assassin on Amazon Prime, starring Keely Hawes and not Saran Jones, because I get confused between the two of them. And I think Saran Jones has also got a sort of action thing out at the moment on Netflix. But it's just dumb fun. It's very sort of James Bondy in terms of the music and in terms of the sort of graphics that come up on screen to show you sort of what location they're at. Lots of jet setting. Keely Hawes is a sort of retired menopausal, as she keeps saying, female assassin, and Freddie Highmore, who's from Bates Motel, if you ever seen that, or what a doctor thing that wasn't Doogie Howser. I can't quite remember the name. He's her son, and she's an assassin and obviously quite capable. He's not very capable, so they make quite a good little double act. It's quite funny, but it's also extremely violent and graphic, which has certainly made it quite difficult for Hannah to watch, but we're enjoying it. And we've got one episode to go, so look forward to that. And last but not least, did you watch Destination X, James? I feel like, talking of finger on the pulse, we should mention this. You've not seen it at all? No interest?
No.
Or...
Wouldn't have a clue, what is it?
So this is the latest kind of high concept game show thing, like, following on from The Traitors and stuff like that. Hosted by Rob Brydon. I think it's maybe an American show, or usually a Dutch show, isn't it? It's usually Endemol. But this is the UK version. So a group of people, they start off in one location, which they obviously know where they are, and then they are ferried about into different places on an X bus, which is just a bus with windows blacked out and everything else. They've got actually two buses. One you sleep on and one they sort of travel on, and they have lounges and stuff. But the idea is they're supposed to guess where they are from clues like through games and through the occasional flash through the window. So they're travelling around Europe somehow, and you get to play along at home. So, they started in Germany, they flew around, or they, sort of slight spoiler for the first episode, they didn't necessarily get very far, or did they? It sort of felt like they ended up back where they started, and there's lots of skullduggery and trickery going on. It's really fun. I'm sure it's not going to last many seasons, because it feels like it kind of has to be Europe, based on the premise, and I'd imagine there's only so many places they can go. But it's another of those things where I just watch, like, Race Across the World, and just reminded how many amazing places there are to visit. So as well as the kind of game show bit, it's kind of added a few destinations to our holiday list. So it's been fun.
Sounds good. I should look out for it.
Yes.
Two quick things. We also have Wicked on DVD. Sarah got it for her birthday.
Nice.
Because obviously it was Sarah's birthday in August as well.
Yes.
So that's the other part I missed out.
Happy birthday.
So we went out and about for that one, had a bit of a trek, and then had a nice Italian up by our local Italian called Vesuvio Pizzeria, which was very nice. We've talked about that before as well, so it was very pleasant. And I was going to say, we also watched Celebrity SAS the whole season in the last few weeks. I've talked about that before. It's one where celebrities come and do an alleged abridged version of the qualification thingy for being an SAS person. There's some really disappointing people in it. Very disappointing.
Who was in it this time? Because last year it sounded quite interesting.
It's always good. But I think I might mention it in the last episode that we did, I think, because they were showing lots of VT of people saying, no, I'm never one for giving up, so I'll be carried out in a box before I quit and all that crap. And then they quit before even the first event, one of them. Shocking, some people. That thingy, the one with the silly, Louis Spence. Quit before the first thing. He lasted about 10 minutes to go on. My heart's not in it.
He comes across as such a hard man as well. I'm surprised.
So that's disappointing. There was remember the Peru 2, the two drug smuggling women that got stuck in a Peruvian jail?
Yes.
One of them was on there.
They're really scraping. They're really scraping
her description was TV personality was her description.
Wow, okay.
But then by the last episode, they changed their description to Peru 2,
right,
which is more accurate. But she did well. Lucy Spraggan, who was on the X Factor years ago.
Yeah, big fan, and she's gone through quite a lot, so respect to her.
She went through quite a lot on the show. She ripped her genitals apart, was the most famous thing from the series.
Ouch.
Yes, in ill-fitting harness, where she did a big jump, and then allegedly she tore her labia. So there we go. Not ideal, but I didn't dwell on it as part of the show. Fortunately, it was just in all the newspapers the day afterwards. That's what happened to her. And she also dislodged some filler in her face as well. I think she whacked herself so hard on the ocean that it moved down her face. So she was... There we go. And this time it was in North Wales rather than somewhere exotic. They normally do it in New Zealand or some hot place, but North Wales this time, just to really ramp up the drama. That was that really good series. 3 people were successful at the end, including Lucy Spraggan, and including the Peru 2 lady, and including legendary footballer Troy Deeney of Watford and not many other places of fame. So
Well,
Fascinating program.
well done for not spoiling Jurassic World. Not so well done for anyone who wanted to know how SAS ended up. But, you know,
It's all finished.
yeah, I'm sure people had their chance. We do try and avoid spoilers mostly, and we will try and do that when we go on to talk about our games that we've been playing this month. Should we do that now, James?
Good segue, Giles. Like it.
Thank you. I was quite proud of myself. So first on the list is our SubClub game for August, which was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which I've abbreviated to POP TLC, but that just makes me think of waterfalls. So I'm going to get bored of saying the whole thing, so some variation of that. But it's a 2.5D Metroidvania from last year, 2024. We've got a new hero called Sargon. He's a young member of the warrior clan, the Immortals. So if you've played either the originals, Prince of Persia, it's a bit like that because it's side on. If you've played The Sand of Time and that trilogy, it's nothing like that, although they were great. And if you played the random sort of cel-shaded Prince of Persia that sort of fell in the middle of that, it's nothing like that either. But what it is, according to lots of people, is highly rated and very well regarded, but it didn't sell very well. So it's available on PS Plus or Ubisoft Plus if you're that way inclined. And so we thought it was worth a go. James, what did you think?
Loved it.
Boom.
Big fan. Like his hair. He's got a strong hair game going on. Kind of dreads in different directions. He looks quite buff as well.
Yeah.
So, not blessed with personality particularly. The dialogue isn't amazing in parts. Graphically, it's not amazing. It's quite familiar to anyone who's played a game in the 90s. It's just a normal sort of side scroller, isn't it? It kind of looks 3D in the distance, so you can see lots of background, lots of fun stuff. But obviously the graphics are modern day graphics, but they're not like top end modern day graphics. They're like somewhere in the middle. Good enough for what it is. And obviously it is, like Giles said, a side scroller. So it's lots of action. The big thing for me is the action because it's pretty non-stop. Really cool. So very much a hack and slash type game. You slide or jump and other things around and smash people up. And it's really entertaining. Enemies come from behind you and in front of you and up from beneath you and down above you on your head. So although it's a side scroller, there is some verticality in it, which I hear on gaming podcasts. So that's good. They don't always come from the same place at the same time. They do some slightly different things sometimes. Annoyingly, when you go back and then come back again, they've reappeared annoyingly a lot of the time, which always irritates me in games, but there we go. And they do lots of different things, and it's only after you play it for a while that you realise that it's quite easy to actually just run away from them rather than take them all on. I'm always, in a hack and slash game, I'm always tempted to beat everyone to death at first, and then I realise you can just jump over their heads, and then I'm like, oh, where'd he go? And then you can crack on, which is much easier than smashing people to death. So there's different things in it. You can have amulets, which give you special powers. You can find amulets, and you can choose which amulets to wear around your neck or around your wrist, wherever you wear an amulet. What if people wear amulets? Who knows? Who cares? And they give you special powers, so you can choose which amulets to wear from your collection of amulets to take on certain baddies, which is nice. Some give you extra arrow power, some give you extra swordy power, and some give you a bit of extra defense. So those kind of things. That's good. But aside from the hack and slash non-stop adventure action bit, there's also lots of puzzles, which is nice. So I like to use my brain and my fingers in unison sometimes. And
yeah, that was always going to break one of us, wasn't it? Yes.
Both. You started it.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
I usually do.
So the puzzles are quite good because you have to really think about where you're going and what you're doing and how you're doing it. So as the game develops, you get more additional skills, which is nice. So at some stage, you get given a bow, so you can then shoot some people with bows rather than with your hacky swordy thing. But that bow also gives you special power, so you can sort of travel in a zoomy fashion. So you can jump up and then zoom, which is really cool, and that gets you into places where your previously non-zoomy self couldn't get to. So yeah, as you go through the levels, you've got a nice map. You have to pay for bits of the map as you go through different parts, which is an interesting concept, but they're quite cheap. Yeah, you can get up through bits and under bits and through bits by doing different special things. There's loads of wall jumping as well, so if you're a big fan of wall jumping and exact timings to get up places, then you'll love this because you've got to really think about where to shoot things and where to place things and where to jump from and to. So all in all, I'm only about 5 hours into it, and about 4.5 of those hours was spent trying to defeat one of the bosses, which is a massive lion that really got on my tits. But yeah, I was probably about 30% of the way through, so not a massive amount. But yeah, loving it so far. Really good. Good variation, good fights, good bosses, good variety of monsters, great puzzles. Loving it.
Yeah, if you haven't played it, I think I would also recommend listeners. It's well regarded, well rated for good reason, I think, and it's this sort of style of game's never going to be the sort of top seller and compete with your Call of Duties or whatever, but it is a really fun, a really sort of compelling game, and it evolves over time as well. So a bit further through it than you, James, but I've had more time to play this month. Started off on a bad setting because I had to sign into a Ubisoft account and couldn't do anything without that. That really annoyed me.
Yeah,
I felt like a sort of hangover from the bad old days where games are just trying desperately to stop you actually playing them. So that was not very good. But after that, really liked it. You said about the presentation, yeah, you did sort of say in the end it's sort of more modern presentation, and it's certainly not sort of highly complex 3D graphics, but I really loved the presentation. It's sort of stylized, and you mentioned with the K-pop Demon Hunters, the sort of manga style kind of features, and we had a bit of that with this game because you have sort of super reversals sometimes if you time it perfectly, and those looked really cool and were very kind of cartoony and manga-y and kind of over the top, really bright colours, really sort of exaggerated expressions and stuff. Really enjoyed all that. The parries but not blocking kind of annoyed me. I don't think you can actually block. You have to time your block exactly right, which maybe that's just from coming off a couple of other games that I've been playing where you can at least block, and so that annoyed me a little bit. Also, as you said, being attacked from different sides, I found that quite tough, particularly because I was still playing on the standard difficulty, which was a mistake. I didn't realise that I could go easier, so I also got to the boss that you mentioned, soldiered my way through it, and have done so with bosses ever since, getting increasingly frustrated, but also still really enjoying the platforming, still really enjoying the combat, so it's kept me going. I think, like you said, the platforming, using the different powers, so as you go along, you unlock the different powers, like James was saying, and because it's a Metroidvania, you'll unlock areas that you can access that you couldn't access before, and the way that that's layered on, I think, is really clever. So by the time you get a bit further through the game, you're really daisy chaining a lot of these different ideas together to get to a sort of place you can access before, or to feel like a complete badass. So that's fun. But yeah, the directionless sort of backtracking, I guess, James, you're probably playing like me with the, you could choose, couldn't you, whether to have kind of markers of where you need to go next. Did you opt to have them?
Yeah. There's a few different options, wasn't there? I think I've got an overall marker, which gives you the end location, but it doesn't give you any indication of how to get to the end location.
That's right, yeah.
So you've just got a point to reach, but it's like impossible to get to.
Yeah.
You have to wait how to get to it, which I like.
Yeah, I think that's a good balance, isn't it? Because I think if you didn't have where you need to go, I'm not sure quite how you would work it out. You'd be spending hours and hours wandering around aimlessly. But even so, I think there is quite a degree of backtracking to get from one area to the other. It's a massive map. It really does expand. And then my only other frustration was the difficulty. So there's a boss at 70%. Who I finally cracked and gave up, and I was literally about to stop playing because I didn't think there were difficulty levels. By this point, I'd just forgotten, and I looked in the settings and couldn't find it. And thankfully, I googled it and found how to get the difficulty. Otherwise, I would have given up, which is a shame because I also love it. So I'm a bit further on now, a couple of hours to go. Great fun.
Yeah, you can really customize the difficulty. I found, so you can adjust every bar of the thingy. So you can choose out of 4 how much damage you want to inflict on the opponent every time you hit them. So even if you didn't want to go for easy, you can just increase that damage slightly, and you can slightly decrease the amount of health taken each time they hit you. So you can still play it through on a decent level, but you can really tailor it to your mood and whether you need to go to bed quite soon. One of my original works was the save points. Every time you go to it, is that Waka Waka tree? Something like that. you look at the tree and it goes into a lovely big shiny tree, and it's a save point. It regenerates all your health and all your arrows and all the weapons and all the other stuff. And you can change your amulets around as well when you get to this Waka Waka tree. But they're only every now and again in the game, so unless you've stumbled across one, then if your last Waka Waka tree is right over the other side of the map, and it's quite annoying when you die, then you go back to that tree, and that's a long way to go back again to where you were before. So that was irking me at the time. But then as I found more Waka Waka trees, and I got less irked. So that was good. There's also a fast travel bit if you make some horses, and you can jump in a horse and go somewhere else. And there's also a nice little lady that is in a forgery place, and she makes enhanced arrows and stuff for you. And there's a market, and there's a little bloke who teaches you skills. There's some really nice elements to the game. But yeah, just nipping back to the graphics. The graphics are perfectly fine for the style, but I only meant that you wouldn't ever confuse the game with real life like you would do with some games. It's not like GTA 6. You wouldn't go, wow, it's incredibly realistic. It's not meant to be realistic at all, and it's not realistic at all in terms of graphics. So it's perfectly themed to what it is.
Fair point. And thank you for the regular use of Waka Waka. I can't remember if that is the name, but every time you said it, I could just see Shakira appearing. And if this section is clipped for our socials, then I will desperately be hunting out a picture of Shakira to drop into the clip at the appropriate time. Why not?
Hips don't lie, Giles. Hips don't lie.
Indeed. So it sounds like you'll probably stick with it, James. You're enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing it in the study where I'm sitting at the moment. It's just literally to my right-hand side.
Very nice.
Because I moved the PlayStation in here because obviously with Joshua being off on some holidays, he's been on the Xbox quite a bit. So I'll just pop in here when I've got a spare half an hour to have a go at Prince of Persia.
Nice. Well,
it's a really good game. Really good game.
Let's not keep you any longer. What else have you been playing this month?
A few things. I mentioned Crime Scene Cleaner last month. And Giles asked, is it sort of cartoon? And I said, not really. It's not great graphically, but it's kind of real life. So, as a reminder, you go in, you get dragged into a crime group by mistake, kind of, because your friend / brother / a character calls you into a place where something bad's happened. And in your job as a normal janitor, he's asking you to come across and try and clean up the crime scene. So you mop up all the blood and find all the bit of evidence, stop the police from finding it. You stick the dead bodies in a bag and throw them in the back of your van, and then you move on to the next one. And in the end, there's about 10 different scenarios. I completed the game this month, which was nice at the start of the month. They get increasingly difficult, increasingly longer as well. As some of the crimes just take like 2 hours to clear up. There's so many things to do in them. And I've been a little bit of a perfectionist. It says you can, as soon as you picked up all the bodies, it says, oh, you can leave now if you want to. But I was like, no. I want to get every little last drop of blood up. Which some of which you can only see under ultraviolet lights, like a ball leg as well. But really good game. The only thing that let it down was the ending. The whole premise is your daughter's Tom Dick, and she's in hospital, and you got to find some money by doing these crime scene cleanups to pay for her treatment. So at the end, you expect some kind of emotional reunion and happy ever after, but you never even see her. It kind of ends with a best dad mug sitting in your living room table, and you go, oh, okay. So it's all done by assumption that she must have not died and must have came home and bought you a mug. Which seems like a scant recompense for the 20 hours I threw into it to get a picture of a mug.
Maybe she
bought myself for £1, haven't you?
Maybe she found out that you had been cleaning up home scenes for criminals and decided that she didn't want anything to do with you. That's a dark end.
Yeah, there's a couple of very minor twists in it, which I won't spoil for anyone that also wishes to clean up dead bodies from villas and swimming pools and stuff. But yeah, an interesting game. Quite relaxing in a funny way. Obviously, traditionally cleaning up dead bodies isn't that relaxing for people, but in the way this is done, it's quite chill. Sort of lay back on the sofa, scraping blood off inappropriate places and throwing corpses in the back of your van. Quite relaxing.
Nice. There's a sort of genre, isn't there, of like cleaning games, one way or another. You know, Power Wash, obviously. Power Wash Simulator's the big one. This, and then that game that looks really cool but bonkers. I think it's like No Ghosts in the Hotel or something coming next year. It's just like a weird kind of clean-up / puzzle / mystery game, which looked intriguing. But clearly, there's a market for this stuff. Whether you're cleaning blood and dead bodies, or you're cleaning dirty cars and houses, or whatever you do in Power Simulator.
Yeah, and the market appears to be me, disturbingly.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hopefully, maybe someone's listening, thinking, "I really wanted a nice, chill game where you clean up crime scenes." You've got your recommendation right here. Nice.
It's kind of got it's got an extra edge to it because in real life you can wash stuff with a power washer, and you can flip houses, but you wouldn't normally clean up crime scenes.
Someone has to.
So yeah. So it's a bit out there.
Yeah.
Well, supermarket sim I used to play, but you could work in a supermarket yourself. So you're just doing what you could have done already. But crime scene cleaner, hopefully you'll never be in a scenario where you're carrying 10 dead bodies out of a villa complex after some horrific things happen to all of them. So there we go. That's my first game completed. Bosh, smashed it.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, really nice to complete something. I've completed nothing this month, which is a bit of a shame because I played quite a lot. But I blame Prince of Persia and my inability to find the easy setting for that. But I'm a stubborn ox, so I persist. The other thing I've been playing quite a bit of is God of War Ragnarok. So it is on PS Plus, and I got burned by at least one of the Horizon games, Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West, I think, leaving PS Plus before I'd got a chance to finish it, really to get anywhere through it. So I'm not taking God of War Ragnarok for granted. Thought I would give that a try, and it's only Prince of Persia that has kept me from going back to it, because played about probably 4 hours early in the month and was really enjoying it. The one thing I would say, so it's, one of these amazing third person action adventure games from Sony, where they really seem to have nailed the sort of quality bar. They went through this big phase, didn't they? Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, kind of reboot, Spider-Man, all the others. And it's one of those. Ragnarok's the sequel. Really enjoyed the first one. Heard Ragnarok was longer, which immediately put me off a little bit. But I am really enjoying it. What I am seeing, though, and it's spectacular, the sort of quality bar on it is amazing. The amount of money or time or both that they've put into it, their tools must be brilliant because it's absolutely rock solid, really slick, really spectacular. The one thing I have noticed is I feel like there's a complete formula in those Sony games, which now that I feel like I've seen, I can't unsee. So it starts off with what was very much like the Last of Us 2 horse ride section. So you've got this section where you're on a sled with your son, and you're going along, and it's a kind of intro with the credits rolling, with a chat, with a little bit of kind of getting to learn the controls. It's very much the horse riding from Last of Us 2, but with some snow. So that felt very familiar, and I thought, that's strange, that feels a bit familiar. Then there's a massive initial fight, which is very good. Feels really weighty and meaty. That was fun. But then about 4 hours in, after a while, now I'm playing as the son, Atreus, I think, with a little, now I've got different controls and I'm maybe less combat-y, and I'm going around just like MJ in Spider-Man, where they do those sections, or just like maybe playing as Ellie instead of playing as Joel, initially anyway, not doing quite so much fighting. So yeah, it feels very sort of like there's a formula there, and it's a great formula and I'm enjoying it, but as I said, just something that I suddenly can't unsee. So God of War Ragnarok, I will be hoping to blast through in this coming month, because I think our other games are quite short, and I'm really nervous that it's going to get pulled from the system for the service, because Sony, unlike Microsoft, do like to take their games off the service as well as adding them on.
Yeah, it's another one on my list I've never got around to playing, so yeah, it's in the top 100 of games I'll play next, unless I find some more games to put on my list for next month. But yeah, it always looks awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of graphic capability, it's amazing.
It's really good.
And I don't mind formulaic things. There's a sense of comfortableness, isn't there? A bit of familiarity is always nice. You can't always be groundbreaking. You've got to have some parts that are familiar and make your heart feel warm.
Isn't there? I think there's a suggestion in drama that there's only like 7 stories or something. You're more,
got to be in it.
You're more linked to that, I think. But the hero, journey and all that stuff. There's only so much variation you can do. So no, really enjoying it so far, and I'll say more when I played it a bit more. Anything else you've been playing, James?
Oh, loads. So next one I've started and finished, Hotel Architect. Great game, as you can imagine. It's up my street. I did a little search one day on Steam looking for games that involve management simulations and that might involve hotels, and that one came up.
Nice.
So yeah, very highly rated. Lots of scenarios. I like a good scenario. Don't like sandbox. Can't be asked for that. But scenario is good fun. So you start off in a place. Can't remember the name. Hildenberg, Gothenburg, who knows? Somewhere with a berg in it that's foreign. And you set up a small hotel. So that's the kind of the tutorial level. And you sort of design the hotel and choose where the rooms go and choose what to put in the rooms. And then you set up a bar and set up a restaurant. But you sort of plan it all out on the blueprint of where you want everything. You put all the equipment in, you hire the staff, you do all the normal management stuff. And good fun. Very simple format, but very enjoyable. And you kind of get into it and your stats go up and you meet all the guest needs and the different types of guests. And you have to put different things in different rooms to meet different needs of different guests and serve certain foods in the restaurant or drinks in the bar to meet their needs. So it goes all the way up from backpackers, which would just sleep on the floor and don't really care too much, all the way up to the upper class people who expect high standards and a certain room size and expect an external view from their rooms and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, really good. So that's the first scenario. And there's about 5 or 6 different scenarios. At the moment, it finishes on New York, which I've just done. And that last scenario was you had to set up a 10-story hotel on a very narrow floor space due to the property price value in New York City Centre, obviously. So this one you have to go very much vertical to make different rooms at different levels and fun stuff. So that was the game completed, or so I thought. But then I completed it on the 1st of September, and then suddenly found out that the DLC was coming out on the 2nd of September. So now there's a Las Vegas level I've not even started yet, which is brand new, which only came out yesterday. So I should give that a poke as well when I get back into it. But yeah, I can recommend it. Nothing too taxing, nice relaxing game. You just put things in place and it all works. So good fun, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I think the streamers call it cozy games, don't they? So the sort of thing you can just kind of potter around and, nothing too demanding, but potentially quite fun. And you like those management sims. It sounds very much like a James game, so...
Yeah, then the other one I've been playing, which is very much like a James game, because I played it for 75 hours before. But for some reason, I went back into it the other day. I thought, well, if I updated it at all in the last 4 years, and they have, and I thought, it must be a lot better now. Because it's called Airport CEO, obviously Chief Executive Officer, for those who aren't aware of what CEO stands for. And in the olden days, when I played it last time, it got really laggy. As soon as you got a certain number of stands and flights and people wandering around the gaff on my PC, it really slowed down. I wasn't sure if it's a game issue or a PC issue. But this time around, they've got a new game engine to it, and it seems to be a lot more stable and a lot less laggy. So basically, it's a nice big tutorial to start, and effectively you get a blank space of land, and you have to set up an airport, including all the security bits and all the runways and the stands and the police and the fire and the security staff. And you literally plot everything out, build it wherever you want to, and then have a global airport. And obviously, being able to work at an airport myself, as you may or may not know, Charles, it's kind of familiar in a nice way and very enjoyable. So yeah, I'm about 10 hours back into that one again now, and I no doubt will chuck the rest of my month into that one again. So great game, Airport CEO. Very much recommend it if you like airports or management games.
I'm glad you mentioned, James. I was thinking this is it a busman's holiday where they you sort of come home from. I mean, you're not as far as I'm aware CEO of the airport, but you sort of come home from the busy. Good point. You come home from a busy airport and think, I'm just going to relax. It's been a long day. Flick on the PC or the PlayStation or whatever it is on, and there you are, back again. It sounds fun. I was a big fan of Theme Park back in the day and sort of SimCity and things like that. So I've enjoyed my kind of managements and builders, but it's been a while. I did get, I think, on Epic Game Store on the PC, I think Civilization 6 was one of the free games, and like my sort of strategy games like that. But I haven't really got back into the builders or simulations, so might give it a try. Love it.
Absolutely love it.
There we go. Well,
anything else you play, Giles?
Yeah, one of the things, just quickly really, because we're nearly, we've only really dabbled in a couple of other things. Hannah and I have been playing Escape from Anti-Escape Island, the DLC for Escape Academy. I think you played it with Joshua, didn't you?
I did.
So that's been fun. Opening with a plane crash didn't help someone who's quite a nervous flyer, which didn't really think about. So Hannah struggled with that. But fun to be back playing together after Blueprints, which was kind of our big game together this year, where we really liked it. We've been looking for something to do together since. Controls and the time pressure are both a challenge, and think we deal with those slightly differently. So it occasionally gets a bit stressful, but mostly fun. And it's been really good. I think there's another DLC in the pack which is about like Escape to the Past or something, which sounds fun too.
Yep.
That's no doubt we'll be playing that. And I actually bought an escape game thing on the MetaQuest as well, because I thought maybe that would be quite fun if one of us, because you can kind of cast your view to the TV. So one of us could wear the headset, a bit like Nightmare from the 80s, if you remember. One of us could, or sort of in reverse, I suppose, because the person wearing a headset wouldn't be able to see anything in Nightmare. But then the other one who could see the screen maybe could just kind of, direct, and that could be quite fun. Yeah. So we're going to give that a go. But yeah, Escape Academy, Escape from Anti-Escape Island. And should I
remember being good.
Double up, and then I think you've got one left, haven't you? Yeah. But the other thing is just briefly gone back to Rematch, last month's co-game of the month with FC25. I know you sort of found it a bit directionless. Was your I think a fair summary of your thought, but it's become the perfect sort of post-work game for me. I mentioned I work at home, so if Anna's still working or out running or doing something, it's like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, just hop on, play a couple of games, and just wanted to share for anyone who hasn't tried it, try and hopefully get across the sheer joy of this game. One match we were 3-0 down, we pulled it back to 3-3, working with complete randos, but actually working as a team, which doesn't always happen, as we talked about last month. Both teams managed to miss 4 or 5 open goals, more or less, to win it. And we did actually lose that one, but only after about a 5 minutes overtime. And losing that sort of position, I've got another couple of examples where we've won it, but losing is just as much fun, I find. So that kind of sense of excitement and that sense of kind of who's going to manage to score that goal. It's just such a good sort of in the moment game, and I'd highly recommend it anyway. One thing that also adds to it is you can have some very ridiculous goals. So another game we were 2-1 down with seconds to go. Player did amazingly and then literally was through on goal, open goal. And just like, I don't remember who it was. Do you remember at school when we played football in the quad? I think someone missed a goal from pretty much on the goal line. Was it Seshan or someone? I think managed to anyway spoon it over the bar or onto the wall above the goal. It was quite impressive, and this happened again in Rematch. Just took me back, and I was genuinely proper laugh out loud funny. So having a great time with Rematch every now and again.
Good. My big memory of Zeshan at school was he had his front teeth knocked out playing hockey.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Not good.
This kind of thing sticks with you 30 years down.
Yeah, I imagine it sticks with him too. Did he have them put back in, or does he?
Yeah, he did. Hockey ball straight to the front of the goal.
Oh dear, gosh!
Ouch! Wow!
Wow!
I got 3 more little ones.
Yeah, some
just occurred to me.
They're not on the list, James. You're really
no.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to keep it vibrant,
fresh,
keep it on your toes.
Yeah.
I tried Hollow Knight very briefly. Really enjoyed it, and then got really annoyed at it, and then stopped enjoying it, and then gave up. So it's one of those dumb games where there's no real close save point. So you fork a load of time into it, and then you die, and then you go miles back, and can't be asked. I think when you get to the age of 46, you know what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy generally, and you know you want to fill your time with stuff you're having fun with. And if you spend an hour doing it and having fun, and then you've got to redo the exact same thing for an hour, that's not fun anymore. It's at least at most half the fun of it was before. And if you then do it again, it's a quarter of the fun, and at the end of it, it's just meh. So Hollow Knight's meant to be amazing, but it is a great game. It's just incredibly annoying, so I can never go back to that again. Can't even talk about it. I've come out of hives just thinking about it. I'm in a hot sweat now.
Let's move on.
So that was that one. So I've ditched that one off, and then played a bit more Fortnite with Joshua because it's summer holiday. So I've gone back to Fortnite. He hadn't played it for a long time, but one of his friends called Billy likes Fortnite, so we got back into playing Fortnite with Billy. Josh is always on his massive calls now. Since he got a phone for his birthday, they now have like 4-way calls. He's got a little group on WhatsApp called the Minecraft Professionals. So he spent a lot of his summer holidays building a version of Doors on Minecraft with another friend, and he's very proud of it. It's very cool. So he's dedicated some time to that one. So that's how we got back in Fortnite. Again, good fun, as that always was. And one final game, a couple of shout-outs now, if I may.
Okay.
So someone reached out last month, someone called Ed, who used to work in the area that I worked at work.
Hey, Ed.
And then he moved on to another job, probably about a couple of years ago now. But he reached out on Facebook Messenger a few weeks ago to say, we just started listening to the podcast. Says, sounds really good, and he's going to try and catch up. So that was nice. And he also gave a recommendation for a game on the Switch, interestingly.
Cool.
So we haven't used the Switch much. It's Joshua, who knows? Since he got it for whenever it was Crystal's birthday last year or the year before, whenever that might have been. But when we were away in Somerset this time, we took the Switch with us. We both put in lots of time into this recommended game by my friend Ed that was called something to do with golf.
Is it golf with your friends?
It might be. No.
Okay.
It's like an adventure game, but you also did golf in it.
First to golf?
So no, it's really straightforward. Maybe like a golf story or something.
Okay.
Could have been golf story, golf tale, golf
war,
golf on the Switch. Yeah, definitely not the golf war.
Okay.
It wasn't Desert Strike. So the game starts. The premise is you used to play with your dad, and then 20 years down the line, you decided that you wanted to go back and take it all up again. So you better go back to the golf course where you hit some balls around with your dad, and there's lots of characters you can interact with, and they give you little challenges whilst you're playing some golf. So you have a career as a golf person, but you also solve lots of quests and stuff to make money to pay for golf lessons or to learn new trick shots or to do different bits. That's really good fun. So we both spent a few days using the Switch on holiday in Somerset in bed playing this golf game. So thank you very much, Ed, for recommending that one.
Awesome.
Also another shout out. I used to work with someone else called Mandy, who's moved on to another job a few years ago as well. And I found out from my other work friend called Dawna that she met up with Mandy, and Mandy's other half listened to our podcast as well.
Hey.
It's really weird. Pretty weird finding connections. Obviously, no one at work currently listens to it because they're all young and have lives.
Understandable.
And stuff. But people who used to work there who are more of my age, their partners listen to podcasts.
Does Mandy's partner have a name?
Probably.
Hi, Mandy's partner.
Wouldn't it be weird if he didn't have a name at all?
It would.
It'd be really strange.
It'd be quite hard to get his attention, or their attention. Sorry, I don't want to make assumptions.
Let's call him Javier.
Okay. Well, if you're listening, Javier, and it sounds like you do, welcome. And Ed, thank you. No, it's always nice to hear about new listeners. We have ticked up on average over the sort of last 6 months in particular. So we do welcome new people. We try and help you on board. But if you go back to listen to the early episodes, bear with us through the sound quality. But there's some good stuff in there. And always let us know what you think of the episodes, whether you've listened recently or you've been with us since the start. So, thanks.
We always welcome recommendations in case we're bored and run out of stuff to play. And also, we also like it if you play along with our SubClub, which Giles will talk about now, probably. Yeah,
I mean, it's almost like we rehearsed this or somehow plan it, but neither are true. No, we do kind of plan it, because the SubClub game of September is Sword of the Sea. So this is also on PS Plus. We will play an Xbox game again at some point. But PS Plus Extra Premium, I believe. It's from Giant Squid, who did Abzu and The Pathless, but did not make Journey. So last month me stands corrected, although it is actually directed by someone called Matt Nava, who worked as the art director on Journey. So I feel kind of vaguely validated in the way that only a middle-class white man can. I was wrong, and I'm going to claim to be nearly right on that one.
I'm still right anyway.
Exactly. So it's I don't know how to explain it, James. I think you've got better notes than I have, but you can't see them, so I might end up stealing yours if you can't remember.
No, of course I remember it, Giles. I remember everything I write down on your little plan.
So what is this?
There's a character called Rafe.
Huh?
Yeah.
Tick.
And he has a thing that might be called a surf sword.
You've written down hover sword, but that sounds
hover sword.
Right?
Hover sword's correct. So he's got a hover sword, and
actually,
he's kind of got a passion for bringing back life to barren wastelands.
Nice.
Using a variety of surfboard, skateboard, hoverboard, snowboard skills and tricks and stuff. But it's a bit of a chill game.
Yeah.
So unlike Tony Hawk's or that boom, bang, bang, funky
Boom Rush Cyberpunk.
Yes, that we played a few weeks ago.
Onrush.
Check out the episode. It's great. Yeah, it's great reviews. This one is a bit more forgiving, so you don't have to do all the crazy tricks.
Yeah.
And if you don't do something right, you just lose a little bit of time and stuff. But it's a nice game. We go around sort of rescuing the planet by doing bits and pieces and saving stuff. So, as Charles mentioned, it's made by the same people who made Abzu years ago. And I've mentioned this 100 times before, but when I used to buy and sell PlayStations on eBay to make my fortune and build this room, which we're sitting in now, including a very expensive wallpaper that looks like a mountain range behind me, I used to always use Abzu to test PlayStations because for some reason the graphics made the PlayStation make an awful whirly noise with a fan. So if the PlayStation was half dead, then as soon as it kicked in with this game, even the graphics screen, it used to just take off like a sonic jet. Unlike other games, which took a long time to get going, this one was straight into it for some reason. Might have been the graphics, might have been awfully rendered, who knows, but it was also good for testing consoles. So I always enjoyed Abzu because it was very chill. There you sort of swam around and played with dolphins and brought the sea back to life. Here you bring the earth back to life. And most importantly, it's very short. So the main story only takes about 3 hours, and the main story with all the side quests only takes about 4 hours, supposedly, according to how long to beat. So we need to try and drag out this month to get our 4 hours of gameplay, so we might have to do every possible side quest and complete it twice. But we shall see.
Yeah.
But it sounds fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, we didn't explain to anyone who hasn't listened. The idea of the SubClub is we pick a game off one of the subscriptions. So that could be PS Plus or Xbox Game Pass. We sort of said we'll play about 4 hours to get a real sense of each game, and then decide obviously if we're going to keep playing, we can carry on, or if we've got other things to do, then that's also fine. Just try out some different things. So yeah, as you said, James, it's nice that it's a short one. I think if we come in under the 4 and complete the game, we're okay with that. Although Stanley Parable was probably still the record with about 10 minutes or something. With that, you did have some replayability there, and we'll again go back to that episode if you're interested. Particularly if you're a fan of, oh gosh, what's the name of the show? Oh, I shouldn't try to do this. Oh, the one on Apple. No. Anyway, there's a show, very famous, Severance, which is very similar in some ways to Stanley Parable. So if you're a fan of Severance, check it out.
But hopefully better.
Well, I like that game. I like that experience. I'm not sure it was a game.
Good.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. This looks great. Really loved Journey, as I think most people did who played it. Enjoyed Abzu or Abzu, however you pronounce it. And I think the world needs a chilled going around trying to make things better. That sounds like a lot of people we could do with that. Good stuff. Right.
It's kind of the opposite of Crime Scene Cleaner in some ways.
Yeah, although I suppose you're making things better. It's just what purpose? For what purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit different.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, it's been a busy month, which is a bit unhelpful because we've had a long episode, but that's fine. Do want to whistle through a number of points, see what we've got to say. Starting with some cancellations over at Xbox, which seems like a regular thing, but Contraband was cancelled, which made me quite sad. They did a sort of mood trailer and then nothing else, so we probably should have seen this coming. But it's from the people who made a really good Mad Max game with some excellent vehicular combat, I think it's called, driving around shooting stuff, and Just Cause, which is also some sort of fun kind of silly carnage. But it never really got anywhere, so that one's cancelled. But I also wanted to acknowledge, because we missed it last month because of it releasing, or the news coming out the day after the previous podcast, that Perfect Dark and Everworld were also cancelled. Perfect Dark I was really looking forward to and had an awesome gameplay trailer just this summer, at the summer showcase thing. Or maybe it was last summer, but it looked great. I think it was this summer. And Everwild was from Rare, looked something different from Xbox, kind of natural world, monsters, creatures, very sort of fantasy setting. Just looked really good. And all three of those games, really, it's a bit sad they were cancelled, but I think all three of them were probably kind of agreed before they bought Activision and had Call of Duty and all of those other studios. And I think that's just the way of the world, really. Are you sad about any of those, James? Did you have any idea about those games? Did they not get on your radar?
Not massively. I think we probably talked about something before, didn't we? On maybe last summer.
Yep.
But no. There's so many new games coming and so many games already out there that it's a mere drop in the ocean, unfortunately. Not for the people making them, because obviously they've got no jobs now, so that's not so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of games, there's plenty more other options out there, fortunately.
Exactly. Yeah, glad you mentioned that because, yeah, the people who are working on them, and it's a pretty tough time to try and find a new job because there are so many projects or studios that are closing. But yeah, even if you think of Perfect Dark, it's a bit spy-y, but otherwise it's broadly a shooter. And you think about Xbox, they now own Call of Duty, they've got Halo, they've got they own id, so they've got Doom, and they've got Quake if they ever want it, and Wolfenstein. You know, they're not short of that sort of game. So when you add everything together, it just makes sense. Speaking of shooters, Battlefield 6 beta happened this month, and it had a bit of a moment, I think it's fair to say, because the beta went down really well. People, I think, were really pleased to just play something that didn't have kind of silly skins in it. You can't play as a Ninja Turtle like you can these days in Call of Duty multiplayer. So if you're into online multiplayer shooters, Battlefield has always been the sort of slightly more grounded, I would say realistic, but you respawn, so I don't think that happens in real life. But I used to play a lot of Battlefield 3 and 4, which you would think came quite recently before 6, but if you know games and naming conventions, there's about 5 games in between 4 and 6. So that was back in the sort of end of the 360 era. And that was when I played online with some friends fairly regularly and loved it. So I tried Battlefield 6. It is spectacular. It's really amazing. Looks great. Plays great. I died within seconds every time I respawned. There's no way in hell I'm going to play it. But I wanted to acknowledge it won't be day one, but will be on Game Pass within sort of 6 months because of the EA Play tie-up. And if I could ever get good at those games again, having enjoyed playing online with Rematch, then I think this might be the one to get me back into it. But I just don't think I'm good enough. James, you've got little to no interest in online gaming from what I recall.
Yeah, less than zero. However, I used to like the campaigns, so I used to play the Battlefield campaigns and the Call of Duty campaigns.
Yeah.
Just not the online parts. And at the time, I was into, well, still am, kind of the World War proper realistic ones. I wasn't too keen on the futuristic ones. But can't remember which Battlefield it was. It was a World War One. Was it 5? 1?
5 was World War Two. Battlefield 1 was World War One, and Battlefield 1 followed 4 and came before 5.
Yes. So 1 and 5 I like because they're World War-y, and I also enjoyed Call of Duty World War Two. That was my 3 favourite shooty games because they had some element of realism to them, and they seem to be based on kind of more believable type stuff. So yeah, I used to enjoy them. Battlefield was always found a little bit harder than Call of Duty. Call of Duty seemed to be a tiny bit easier to get into and slightly less realistic, whereas Battlefield was always really hard.
Yeah, and
but good fun.
You could control vehicles, though, can't you? And it was always great fun. Getting in, for me anyway, getting in a jet fighter or a helicopter, piloting it, doing something vaguely competent for about 10 seconds, and then doing something really stupid and probably crashing and killing all my teammates. Not deliberately. I just am genuinely terrible at controlling anything in that game. So, well.
I also think on one Battlefield game, they used to get replaced by someone else, didn't you? So when you died, you came back as a different character.
Ah, I don't remember that.
It just transferred over to someone else in your little platoon in one of the games.
Ah, yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, rather than just respawning and restarting, you just became someone else and moved on. And then they had a little tombstone up for the person you just died with, and then the new person moved along. So
that does ring a bell. Yeah, try and give it that sense of actually this is pretty final. This is pretty final in real life.
Yes.
We had Gamescom as well in the last month. Lots going on.
Wow.
We'll jump through it because it's a busy episode. But Replaced, I thought looked incredible. I wanted to call out. That's also a side scroller coming to Xbox in spring 26. And a game called Bye Sweet Carol, which if you haven't seen it, it's due out in October. James, I suspect you might not have seen this trailer, but or anyone listening, I'd really recommend looking it up. It is kind of classic animation style, so like the original Snow White kind of look. Or maybe if you remember Dragon's Lair as a game in the arcades, which was Don Bluth animation, it's that sort of look, and it's kind of fairy tale-y, but then it goes really dark. Yeah, I won't try and describe it because it's kind of gross, but it looks incredible. The style of it just really appealed to me, and the sort of dark fairy tale. I suppose, I mean, a lot of the Brothers Grimm were pretty dark and grim, weren't they? So recommend that. And then there's a state of play which will happen after we record, but before this goes live, which will focus on James Bond First Light, which I think we both said we like the look of as well. So lots going on. Anything else?
Yeah, it's quite a young James Bond, wasn't it? Sort of a half an origin story. So it looked really interesting. And obviously, always look forward to big ones. Indiana Jones, we mentioned, didn't we, before? So this is something kind of similar, a remake of a brand new film that's never really been there before. So that's nice. Also, when we're on the subject, Indiana Jones DLC comes out now as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
Which you mentioned, you might be the one DLC you might actually pay real money for because you so much enjoy the original.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them announcing how much it is, because they're being a bit shifty at the moment. They've explained that you can buy the upgrade from the base version, which is about 30 quid at the moment, but that includes some digital guff like digital art book or something. But they've been very quiet, but have mentioned in the small print that you can just buy the DLC by itself, but not until it comes out, which is, I think, the 4th of September, 5th of September. So, yeah, let's see what the price is. And yes, I might partake. But if I do spend money, which I don't tend to do because I've got all these subscriptions and far too many games to play, between those, the Buy Sweet Carol and, the DLC for James Bond, those are definitely James Bond? Indiana Jones.
Already?
Yeah, I'm sure they've got it planned. Those are very much on my list. There's some other stuff coming out, isn't there, quite soon that you've got your eye on?
Oh, so much stuff, James. Crazy times. Nine Souls is coming out very soon on Game Pass, I think it is. Yep. So it looked really good. If you look at the Steam reviews, it's like 90-odd%. It looks amazing. But it's maybe quite hard. Kind of a Souls-like type thing. Kind of looking a bit like Sekiro, which you've mentioned on the show before. And it's meant to have some similarities to Hollow Knight, which kind of stopped me on my tracks when I read that part, having said how much I hated Hollow Knight earlier because it's so damn hard, and he kept going back horrifically far. But this game is meant to be like really graphically amazing and very stylized, which I like the idea of. Meant to have a bit of a plot behind it as well. Combat's meant to be excellent. It's meant to be really interesting. So I might give it a go, only to find after half an hour that I can't stick it and give up on it. But at least I can say I've tried it like I did with Hollow Knight. So yeah, looking forward to that one. I think that's out in the next few days if it's not out already on Game Pass. So look out for that one if you like Japanese-inspired arty games that look really cool and really quite hard. And then we've got some other ones we've been waiting for a while. So we've got Silent Hill F, comes out on the 25th of September. So really quite close now. Looking forward to that one for a long time. We saw some of the trailers, didn't we, at State of Play last time and the time before, I think. Yep. When the fun Japanese people come up and just say fun things in Japanese and they all look very serious and then nod and wave and bow at the end of it, which I always enjoy on State of Play. But graphically it looks amazing last time on the previews. It's like a Skullgirl, isn't it, this time? And we kind of harped on the fact that lots of female protagonists are sort of mid-teens, which is always a little bit strange in a game, and this one's at school as well, and sort of a very school uniformy type thing, and she's wandering around getting massacred by murderous beasts. But it looked really good. Hopefully another step forward from Silent Hill 2 remake, which I really enjoyed earlier in the year. Check out previous episodes if you want to go back on that one. There's probably a review on the website as well if you want to listen to about it.
Yeah, there's a review, I'm sure.
It feels like it would have been a review, and that's good. So yeah, very much looking forward to that one when it comes out later this month. But again, I'll probably put up my Christmas list because I'm not going to fork out 60 quid for a game. And my father-in-law bought it for me last time, Silent Hill 2 remake, so hopefully he'll do it again this time, which was very nice. And then two other little ones, which not many people have probably heard of. Ghost of Yotai comes out on the 2nd of October, which obviously was the big PlayStation exclusive game that they've been talking about for a long time, following on from the Ghost of Tsushima, which I've never played, but looks really cool. And again, graphically looks amazing when they showed on the previews, even just looking over the wheat fields in front of you with the yellow and the mask and all that kind of stuff looked amazing. And then, personally, I'm looking forward to Little Nightmares 3, because I love Little Nightmares 2. Again, we talked about that a while ago. Check back. Love that game. Again, like I mentioned earlier, very dark, sort of a side-scrolling type game with some inciting puzzles in it and challenges, but very dark and dank. Some really unpleasant baddies in it as well, which we talked about at the time if you want to check back. And that one comes out on the 10th of October. So again, probably just after the next episode launches, but something to put on your wish list. And hopefully at some stage it becomes on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass. We shall see. But yeah, some big name games coming up.
Yeah, I think the previous ones have been on at least one of the subscriptions, mostly. So might be a case of being patient on that one. Speaking of things on subscriptions, just wanted to recommend Psychonauts 2 if you've not played it. It's going to be PS Plus Essentials all September, and it's on Game Pass because it's a Double Fine production, so it's one of the Xbox studios. It's incredible. It's a really good sort of almost old school 3D platformer. You don't have to have played the first game. It's probably worth watching a video about the first game in terms of the story. But it's also Psychonauts. The whole idea is that it's people who can kind of get inside people's minds and explore their minds to sort of solve issues that they're having in kind of real life, a bit like Inception in a kind of weird way. More colourful. But because it's getting inside people's heads, it's also got some really interesting stuff to talk about mental health. So the baddies are things like doubt and anger and things like that. Maybe a bit Inside Outy, if you know the Disney Pixar movie. Cool. So I recommend that. You mentioned Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight Silk Song is pretty much released by the time this launches, I think. It sounds like neither of us will be playing it. Because I also get too frustrated, really. Although, having really enjoyed Prince of Persia, it does make me slightly tempted to give it a try. And yeah, really just getting ready for October, where lots of stuff comes out, but we'll talk about that next month.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch Hollow Knight with someone else's anymore. more than enough for that one. But also, I've still got to play the other recent subscription service games I've not got around to yet, which is obviously Indica, which you mentioned before. That Russian crazy nun game, and the other one which was just in my head and then disappeared again. What was that one?
I want to play Hurdling, which is which is on Game Pass, which is another short and fairly chilled, I think, journey of sort of herding these kind of weird buffalo type beasts to a kind of mystical mountain or something or other. I've tried not to look too much into it because it just looks really cool, and I think it's very much about the mood. So best not to spoil anything. But yeah, there's loads of great stuff, and like you said, we've got.
I also still want to play The Alters as well, which came out on Game Pass last month or the month before, where you can get characters regenerated from you at various stages in your life. And all the podcasts I listen to said it's meant to be awesome as well. So so many games.
I think it was either May or June, James. That's how quickly the year's going. But yeah.
And then stupidly, I then get into a hotel game and start building an airport again. There's so many games I want to play, and I chuck 70 hours into building an airport. Hey ho.
There we go. Well, we were talking about how time flies, and time has flown for this episode. We've gone long. We've kept ourselves away from that huge backlog that we need to get to. So I imagine we should get back to it. That's the show. Please remember, like and subscribe to the podcast. Consider giving us a 5-star review. We say that pushes us up the searches. It would do. But also, it's just really nice to see them. So if you could do that for us, that would be wonderful. Come over and interact with us on our various socials. Like James said earlier, we really like hearing from you. You know, recommendations, anything you like in the show, anything you don't, feel free to let us know, and we can probably ignore you. No, we'll probably listen because, you know, we can't alienate any of our listeners. We've got an email address, akesandgamespod@gmail.com. Or message me. I'm at Giles Wentwest on most things. How about you, James?
Yeah, very similar. Come to the TikTok, watch our short video clips. The whole thing will be uploaded onto YouTube shortly, including all the videos. You can watch us meander along and laugh at inane childhood jokes halfway through it. Drop an email, drop some messages on any of the platforms. And if you were at the 30th birthday party last week, please be privileged by the fact that I said you weren't knobs. Sounds good. Lovely people. Have a good week, everyone, and we shall see you next month for more Aches and Games.
First Friday of the month. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.